Hi, so I'm just going to talk about why I think you should visit Tossens, Germany. It's in northern Germany in the state of Lower Saxony. And if you're familiar with Germany, Lower Saxony is actually above Saxony. I'm going to give you 5 reasons that you should go visit this area because it's just an amazing area and it's really not really like anything else in the entire world. It's pretty special and I got the privilege of being able to visit it. The number one reason I think you should visit Tossens, Germany is the North Sea borders Germany. It's in the north. And it's not like a normal beach. We actually walked on the beach expecting white sand. Everything's like, oh my gosh, the beach is black. Yes, the sand is black. It's not really black. I mean, I would call it black, but it's really gray. It's not really sand because what happens is the tide will come in and it'll come really high and then it'll go out a lot. Enough, like it'll go out for miles, and so you can actually walk on this sand for miles, but it's not really like sand, it's sort of like a sinkhole. So if you stand in it for a certain amount of time, you'll start sinking into the sand and you can like wiggle it and sink further. So it's kind of like a natural wonder of the world because this doesn't really exist in very many places. The place I know of it exists is actually in this area on the North Sea. You can walk for miles, but once the tide starts coming in, the tide will come and it only takes several minutes to cover all of that land and you could die. So be careful. We actually went with a guide and he was awesome. I think one of my favorite things is you could put your feet into the sand and then you would sit backwards as if you were like sitting, but you weren't really sitting, you were just like using your abs to sit in the sand, and I thought that was just really cool. How strong it was, because it was so soft and it was so easy to move, but yet it was like super strong. It could hold you, and so I just thought that was so cool. And there were all sorts of little things underneath because it's the ocean floor. So there's all these little slugs and these like slug poop, and it's really gross, but it's awesome. It's really cool in there. Tip though, wear a jacket because I was freezing. I wore short sleeve shirts and shorts, and if you go to northern Germany in the summer, that's not really going to cover it. It's going to be in the 50s Fahrenheit. The reason I think that you should visit this area is that the people there are just really nice. They're mostly Germans and people from the area because they don't get a lot of Americans coming to this tiny little town in northern Germany, but great town and the people are really friendly. One thing you should expect is that they only take cash. Don't bring your credit card and expect to pay. You need to have euros. Even your hotel bill, like, oh my god, our hotel bill, it's like, you take credit cards? No. Make sure you bring cash because I think this is really anywhere in Germany. They pretty much still just take cash. They're kind of not trusting their credit system still, which, I mean, I think that's a good way to go, is to only pay in cash. So another reason that you should visit Tossens, Germany is they have these rentable go-karts.
They're just so much fun to drive.
You can take it anywhere, and you can ride around to the store in these things. And when I say go-karts, I don't mean like electric. I mean you pedal them. You kind of feel like you're in a carnival. Another reason that you should visit Tossens, Germany is there are beautiful fields. If you know the area, it's a flat area. There aren't any mountains or anything. That's why they consider it an amazing place to bike. And just north of this area is actually Denmark, which is considered one of the most bike-friendly places in the whole world. It's a very flat area and you can ride your bike anywhere through these beautiful farmlands and fields like that. And it gives you a really homey feeling because you know that these animals are treated well. Because when you drive through like Iowa in the United States, you'll see these big giant farms, or you can drive for a mile and still be on the same farm, and you know that that's not going to receive as much care as these small little farms in Germany. Last but not least, another awesome reason to visit Tossens, Germany is what happens is the tide comes in, and to protect it from flooding the lands, they build these big levees. They have these giant levees, and on the levees, it's grass. The cool thing is that they don't mow this grass or anything, but the grass is really nice and trimmed, and you know, it looks like they mow it, but what they do is actually use goats to mow the grass for them, and I just think that's the coolest thing ever. There's goats just everywhere and sheep eating the grass, and I just think that's the coolest thing. Like, we don't need lawnmowers, we have sheep. It's not like in America where they'd have 7 fences between you and the sheep because they don't want to get sued. I thought of another reason why you should visit Tossens, Germany, and I don't know if you know anything about Germany, but they have tons of windmills, mill houses, like where they grind wheat and stuff like that. And this is actually sort of becoming a rare thing because modern technology and factories and machinery. They don't need this stuff anymore. These old buildings that used to be very important to the society, they're now like relics. There are like a certain amount of historic mill houses and windmills in this area, and Tossens, Germany actually has one of them, and it was really cool to walk through. There's one called the Mühle, where you can bake your own bread and you actually grind the wheat yourself and bake it, and we met some really nice German people there. Don't go if you don't speak German though, because they don't speak English there. They're actually not, they're accustomed to American visitors because it's so far out, and you know, it's a town of several hundred people. You don't get a lot of American visitors. You like know someone or be versed enough in German to get yourself around. It's a beautiful town. I think it definitely deserves a visit because it's so unique. A visit to a town like this really shows you that there's just infinite possibilities out there with the world of travel. The closest airport, if you want to fly into Tossens, would probably be Bremen. I think you could probably fly into Amsterdam as well, which is a little bit longer of a drive, but is also pretty close. So thank you for watching, and I hope you check out trips to cool towns like Tossens, Germany.